I'm John Peterson, author of Playing at the World and Game Wizards. You are listening to Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG talk.
This week, Morrus, PJ, and Jessica talk about all the week's tabletop RPG news, including leaks of Vecna, Eve of Ruin, Hasbro invests $1 billion in video games, big changes to D&D Beyond, and more, plus a brand new sketch about a despot learning of the election results. This week on Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG talk.
The Thieves Guild has sponsored today's podcast. The Thieves Guild is your #1 destination for the procurement of robbers, burglars, housebreakers, shoplifters, pickpockets, muggers, larcenies, pilferers, poachers, embezzlers, swindlers, crooks, cutpurses, footpads, and lurchers. Just head down to the Clothmakers Guild and ask for a pebble-down mattress, wink twice, and answer "Fiddle me dee" when they ask you your name. But don't tell them I sent you. I owe them money.
All the tabletop role-playing news, we aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG.
Hello, and welcome to Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG talk. I am Russ, aka Morrus, or Morrus, aka Russ, and with me this week is...
It's PJ Coffey from the Southampton Guild of Role Players. Despite the dreadful weather, there is a ray of sunshine that has entered my life once again, as it does on a weekly basis. Glorious like the sun, and yet with the same thermonuclear terrible capabilities of destruction. It's the one, it's the only,
It's me, Jessica from D&amp Publishing. And it hasn't been every week, PJ, because I missed you last week. I had Russ doing my intro last week.
I missed you too.
Which is just...
I thought you were talking about me then, and I thought I was so deflated when you said Jess's name.
It's like we all bring different things to this conversation.
Are you saying that I am not a ray of sunshine? Is that the takeaway message from this?
I think if I said that it was never difficult to distinguish between you and a ray of sunshine, that would not be untrue.
And one of my nails is painted yellow, so that also is probably helping the metaphor. So
what colour are your nails painted, Russ?
Yeah.
Nail colour.
Did you even try? Well, part of mine is as well. It's a French manicure. I
especially painted them nail colour.
So this bit's nail colour.
Russ, if you're not prepared to put the effort, go on.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, let's do some RPG news, shall we?
Yeah.
A bold choice. Move it from this fashion podcast.
Yeah, well, we got a bit of news this week. So
this is an official fashion talk.
I don't know if my nails are fashion, but you know they're there. But yeah, let's talk about tabletop RPGs.
Let's talk about Vecna, shall we?
Oh yeah, tell me about Vecna. What news?
Right, this is spoilerific though.
Okay. So if you would not like to know about it, skip forward X number of minutes.
A bit.
4 minutes. How
long this comes. Yeah, 4 minutes. Right, we've got 4 minutes to finish this conversation. Okay,
ready, go.
Okay,
right,
let's go.
So,
Hello, your editor Joel here. As you might guess, they did not, in fact, finish this discussion in 4 minutes. In fact, it took 10 minutes and 22 seconds. So if you'd like to skip the spoilers, fast forward to the 14-minute and 6-second mark. Also, there's an additional 4 minutes and 5 seconds of non-spoiler discussions related to the Vecna book, and if you'd like to avoid all discussions of Vecna entirely, please skip to 18 minutes and 11 seconds.
The table of contents has leaked. So the table of contents, yes, there was a YouTuber called Game Masters who got sent a photograph of the table of contents of Vecna, Eve of Ruin. They haven't said who it was that sent it to them.
Okay, protecting their source.
But yeah, I mean, that's it though. It's there. So we've got the entire table of contents. So we start off with Danger in the Multiverse, which is like a 10-page overview of the campaign, the Wizards 3, Vecna, how to run the adventure, character creation, all that stuff. And then we go into the chapters themselves. And this is where we get spoilery, because obviously each one... I don't think it's that spoilery, actually, because we already knew that basically it's set up as a hunt for the bits of the Rod of Seven Parts in different game worlds, didn't we?
Yeah.
So this just kind of reveals what order they're in, really. So,
all right.
Chapter 1 is called Return from Never Death Graveyard.
Running around a graveyard and a tomb.
Yeah, so I'm not sure where that one is set. I think that might be maybe a Realms place. Because this is chapter 1 is before they meet the Wizards 3 and start their journey, I think.
Is that never with a TH or with a V?
V.
V.
Never death.
Never
V.
death.
As in the opposite of always alive.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then-
no. The V in never. Is it like, so what, you never die? That seems like a bad place for a graveyard.
Necromancy, I guess. Maybe it's just a necromancy factory.
Maybe it's because everything's undead there, yeah. I don't know.
I've not been there, so I don't know.
No, that's fair enough.
You've never... It might be a place.
Never been to Never Death.
Never been to Never Death. Never Death Graveyard, yes, it's a place. Okay, here we go. Looking at the Neverwinter wiki, it is a place. A burial place of the city of Neverwinter.
Right.
Well, it's just a burial place, yeah.
Is it really cold there? Or is it really sunny?
Well, I'm kind of reading and learning well at the same time here,
Okay.
but why is it called Never Death then? I don't know.
I don't mean to derail.
Doesn't say.
I'm just
It doesn't say.
confused.
I can't help you.
I don't know.
Oh.
I can't
like-
help you.
Graveyard or perpetual peace or something. I don't know.
Yeah, consisting of 2 wide, roughly square areas of the city surrounded by a wall of stone and wood. Never Death is the burial grounds of Neverwinter, named from a common blessing given over the dead. As long as the city remained in summer, it was believed that the dead would not turn into undead. There we go.
Oh, there we go. That's a good reason.
I mean, sure, it should be called Never Undead then. But,
Well,
I'm just being pedantic, ignore me.
you are being pedantic.
It is my way.
All right, Chapter 2, The Wizards 3. So this will be presumably when you meet the 3 wizards in Sigil.
I'd love it if there were 4.
Yeah, just to be annoying. I'd like that a lot too.
Yeah, it's like, well,
And
sorry,
then
my
people keep
mum
asking
made
them,
me bring.
why
My mum
do
made
you
me
call
bring my
yourselves-
cousin. He wasn't meant to be here, but
Three wizards
why do you
and
call
their
yourself the
cousin
Wizards
Ward.
3 and they just don't understand what the problem is? But there's 4 of you. Yeah.
Cousin
So?
Debbie, who's a warlock.
Yeah.
I mean,
What?
he's technically
Well,
a
actually, they're a
cleric.
wizard, a bard, and a sorcerer, so yeah.
There's no wizards there at all. This is like a 3 fighters.
3 fighters. Oh, there's a sketch right there. All right, next week, done.
Right, anyway, so the Wizards 3. So I guess that's where they get their briefing. The adventurers get sent on their mission.
Yeah.
Then we got Chapter 3 is the Lambent Zenith's Last Voyage.
Ooh, a doorway to space, it says.
I guess, maybe, yeah, maybe.
I am keen on the idea of a dorm. Hey.
Is that a spelljammery thing? I don't
It
know.
looks spelljammery because it says a doorway to space and then about the voyage.
Yeah,
So
so I'm guessing that.
So apparently lambent means flickering lightly or light or brilliant. And Zenith, as we know, is the absolute top of something. So there we go.
The light
It's
at the top of the last... Yes, okay.
Shiny at
So
the top.
Chapter 4. Chapter 4, we hit Barovia. So this is where we start hitting the different worlds. We got Barovia. So
Yeah.
Chapter 3 looks like it's Spelljammer. Chapter 4 is Barovia. Not Barovia, no. Chapter 4 is Eberron. Chapter 5 is Barovia. Chapter 4 is Eberron. I missed a
just
chapter.
straight
That
over
was
Eberron.
rude, wasn't it? Yeah.
the ruined Colossus.
Yeah, Chapter 4 is Eberron. It's called The Ruined Colossus.
Nice.
Then Chapter 5 is called Death House, and that's the one in Barovia, Ravenloft.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a nice house to visit. I wouldn't go
That
there
sounds
personally.
lovely. It sounds absolutely lovely.
Do you want to go to the death house? No. Unless it
Would you like
means...
to go to? Would you rather go to the cake house? Yes, yes, please.
Yes. That sounds...
Death house or cake house?
Death or cake?
Cake house, please.
We're out of cake. It has been very popular. Anyway, sorry.
S'il vous plaît.
Yes.
Yeah, and that one has Strahd in it apparently.
Oh.
That makes sense. Because there's a sub-item that says Strahd's presence, so, yeah.
Yes, or unless it's Christmas and that's Strahd's presents.
No, it's not spelled that way. Don't confuse me. I know I'm dyslexic, but even I know that's not right.
Then we go to Kryn, Dragonlance with a Knight of Blue Fire, and that mentions does it mention?
Was that
no, it
blue
doesn't
fire
mention
or
Lord
blue
Soft.
satin?
Blue Fire.
Okay.
I did not misread the word satin as well.
And in the appendix, in the bestiary, or bestiary, however it's pronounced, I never know, there is Lunar Dragon listed, so I'm guessing that is...
Ooh.
And Lord Soth.
Is it?
On page 246.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darth Vader himself making her come out.
Oh,
Coming
yes.
out to play.
Have we ever had 5e stats for Lord Soth, official ones or not? Or have we?
I
I
think...
don't.
Oh no,
Yeah.
he was in the Dragonlance one.
Yeah,
yes,
we
he was
have,
in that.
we
Yes,
have.
yeah, he was. Yeah.
Because I remember that's when you were telling me about it and you used the metaphor of Star Wars. You're like, yeah,
Yes, he's
basically Darth Vader
yeah.
of Dragonlance. And I was like, got it. Know exactly who they are. Let's carry on.
Yeah. All right. Chapter 7. We go to Greyhawk, Earth, Tomb of Wayward Souls. Earth, of course, spelled Oerth.
Yeah.
And according to Gary Gygax, the way to pronounce that is you imagine a person with a strong New York accent saying Earth.
Oith.
So it's Oith, yeah. That's how you're supposed to pronounce it.
Everyone from New York is now cursing both of us. They're like, that's not how we speak. How dare you?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Avernus is chapter 8 with the Dragon Queen's Pride.
Nice.
So we've got a spot of Tiamat going on there, I guess.
Are they on the list?
And you're sending into hell. And then chapter 9 is called The Betrayer Revealed.
Oh.
Da, 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 da.
And it does say in the contents.
So and so reveals himself.
The person reveals themselves, might be herself, themself.
Yeah, it's a name, and who knows?
Yes, but
I'm delighted that you're
if you know anything about
learning about neutral pronouns.
Vecna, you know who that is anyway. But if you don't, then anyway, chapter 10.
It's his friend
10.
James.
The War of Pandesmos.
Pandesmos.
Don't know where that's at. Pandesmos. No idea where that's at, but there's somewhere called Hurricane Tower, Ruinous Citadel, Cliffside Redoubt,
A hurricane tower.
Carapace Ridge.
It sounds very precarious.
Forgotten Realms.
And
Yeah.
it sounds like a health and safety nightmare.
Apparently, it's the topmost layer of the plane of Pandemonium in the Great Wheel cosmology.
Well, there we go.
Ooh.
And
now we know.
So that will be a health and safety issue then.
More familiar to those who are more scholarly, it's one of the other names for Aphrodite.
Right, chapter 11, Eve of Ruin, back in Sigil, and it looks like Vecna is there.
Oh, so this is the end,
guess.
so you've gone around on your fetch quest getting all the bits, and
Yes, yeah.
then you get betrayed, but then you go and fight. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so that's the adventure, and then there's a conclusion, and then we got a bestiary with, we got about 35 pages worth of monsters.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, some of those I've seen before.
There's like a nice variety of them as well. Because of the nature of the adventure, you can have lots of different flavours.
There's the Granite Juggernaut, which offends you so, Peter.
Because it's meant to be harder and granite. Yeah.
Than stone, yes.
It doesn't offend me because it's made of granite. It's like, what is the difference between a stone juggernaut and a granite juggernaut? Surely a granite juggernaut is a subset of stone juggernauts.
Spends a lot of time in kitchens.
Well, maybe it is. It's like saying that a black dragon is a subset of chromatic dragons.
Yeah, which is fine. But
So what's the problem?
when would you fight a chromatic dragon, Russ?
Whenever you fought a black dragon.
I've never fought a black dragon except in the game. But I would still fight a black dragon. I wouldn't expect to fight a chromatic dragon.
A black dragon is a chromatic dragon.
That's fair. But
Oh boy.
also, it's just like a generic dragon. A generic guardian would be the type of thing.
This is the most pedantic podcast ever
Yeah.
broadcast.
Oh, please. You haven't even begun to see the limits which I can
You can
go.
tell it's a nerd podcast because we're like, actually, let's talk about this in detail.
Yeah.
That's what we're like.
I just want things to, etymologies to make sense.
That's fair enough.
Let's catalogue some information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
makes
you
sense.
fight a granite guardian, a granite juggernaut, sorry.
Yes, you do. And then we have Appendix B, which is the character dossier, which is 16 pages long. And we've got stats for... Is it Acererak or Akererak? Acererak.
A Serac.
Illustrial Silverhand, Kaz the Betrayer, Loth the Spider Queen, Lord Soth, Miska the Wolf Spider, Mordenkainen, Stradvon Zarevich, Tasha, Tiamat, and Vecna.
That's quite the cast. It feels like a celebrity special. Do you know what I mean?
Imagine having to fight them all at once.
No, thank you. Like me as
That would be
Jess,
bad.
not even my character.
Yes.
I'll instantly die.
Oh.
Instant death.
Instant death.
Yeah.
So that is the contents of Vecna, Eve of Ruin.
Dealt with in a handy 14 minutes, which I think is aces at a time.
Yeah.
Welcome
There's
back
a
if you
little bit-
didn't want... Oh, sorry.
There's a little bit more. This bit isn't spoilery.
Okay, all right, okay.
Sorry.
So this is Wizards put out a video about player advice. There's not really a lot in it, just advice for role-playing through Vecna, Eve of Ruin, the sort of characters you might want to play, that sort of thing.
Oh,
You
nice.
can watch that if you feel... They did one the other week, DM advice as well, so it's a pair of videos.
That's useful to have that, actually, because as a DM, you could send it to your party and be like, hey, I'm thinking of running this. This is the sort of thing it is. Just to
Yeah, have a quick
let
check of
people
this
know
sort of
the
thing.
vibe.
Yeah, that could work. That could work.
I do have a question.
Hmm.
And maybe this is like a bit of a noob question, but what is... I mean, obviously it's got 7 parts and it is a rod, but what does the rod of 7 parts do?
What does it do? Well, it beats Vecna, obviously.
Okay. All right. I mean, how would a rod of 1 part not be equally effective?
Right, so it is a 5-foot-long pole when whole.
Okay.
And the command words, each part has a command word, which are apparently Ruat, Calum, Fiat, Justitia, Ecce, Lex, and Rex, which collectively make up a Latin phrase that translates into through chaos reign, let justice be done, behold, law is king.
Okay.
Yeah. So at one point it was in one piece and it was known as the Rod of Law. And it was used in the Battle of Pesh to imprison the Queen's greatest general, a character known as Miska the Wolf Spider, Prince of Demons, who is one of the NPCs mentioned in the thing.
I gotta say, that's a good title.
Yeah, and it was broken into 7 fragments during this conflict, and the 7 individual pieces were scattered across the world. So it's a Rod of Law, basically broken into 7 parts, and presumably has various abilities. I don't know what its actual abilities are, though, when it's the Rod of Law.
I thought it was just like more of an Ultron thing or something.
Well, each fragment has powers. Each fragment does something different. I don't know when it's kind of... So let's have a look. So the specific these are old. This is an older version of it. Who knows if they've changed it?
Right, yeah.
But this is an older version of it. So we got a part that can cure light wounds, a part that can do slow, a part that can do haste, a part that can do gust of wind, true seeing, hold monster, heal. Other parts. Each of the parts can do that.
Yeah, that's quite a discrepancy, but all right.
Yeah, but I don't know when you put them together. I don't know exactly what it can do.
Oh, it kills Vecna.
I think it's to. It sounds like it's to
the wolf spider,
imprison him. Because if it banished her, then maybe they're like, "Wow, this person's so powerful. We can't kill them, but we can banish them." And we did that with what's her face before, so we'll do this again. Maybe it's that.
Yeah,
wax with a pocket dimension.
Yeah, or something.
Yeah,
deal with it later.
Well, the Rod of Law has got to do something. The actual law aspect of it, it's got to have some. Just reading. Here we go. The Vati, also known as the Wind Dukes of Aqua, created the Rod of Law as a weapon that could destroy the Prince of Demons. As Miska's hordes continued to push back the forces of law, the Vati finally confronted him on the volcanic fields of Pesh, and impaled Miska with the Rod of Law. As the absolute law of the rod mixed with the demon's blood, a massive planar rift opened, shattering it into 7 pieces. There you go. There we go.
I did something similar with a ceramic knife the other day, chopping up garlic, so I understand.
It is very similar. Did it shatter into 7 parts and then get distributed across the multiverse?
It didn't get distributed across the multiverse. I just put it in the bin.
Oh, okay. Well, the bin is part of the multiverse, I suppose.
Someone's, maybe, yeah. All right, that makes sense.
Okay. Right, anyway, that's Vecna. We're done with Vecna. There's no more Vecna news.
Welcome back. If you wanted the Vecna break, we are now done. It took more than 4 minutes.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. Right. Yeah.
I have some news, or do you want to do a segue, as this is called?
You do it.
Amazing. Yes. I am excited because Edge Studios have announced more details for the Arkham Horror RPG. So we mentioned this before, but they released a bit more information. And I like this information. So they've described the kind of system a bit more for it, and it's a D6 based dynamic dice pool system. So you have 6-sided dice in 2 different colours. So you get like 12 green and 12 black in the starter set, and you have a pool of dice to perform actions, and you do that by sometimes removing dice from your dice pool, and other times by rolling, and then you replace them in different scenes and things. They do replenish, but I really like the idea of that because the dice pool also represents damage, and if you've been injured, it refills more slowly. So I think that will get that tension, horror, we've got scarce resources kind of feeling by using it that way. So I thought that was really interesting. So, yeah, I kind of like the idea of that.
What's the setting, Arkham Horror? It's a board game, isn't it? But I haven't played the board game.
It's Cthulhu-ness.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
just
it's like
investigating.
It's 1920s.
Yeah.
You're doing some investigation. There's like, I don't know.
Cultists and Wibblies.
Yeah. Different sort of things popping in and out of portals. I mean, which Arkham Horror is it? Because I know like the old 7-player one vaguely. the one with like 1 million tokens for Fantasy Flight. So which one?
It's linked to that because Edge Studios and Fantasy Flight are...
Yeah. One's the role-playing game arm.
Yes, this is the role-playing game arm, but yeah.
It's entertaining.
I think I'm interested in it, actually. This looks good. I like the idea of it. They've got a full blog post on their site, which is linked on EM World, which has more details than that, but that's the basic overview. And and it's going to be set to be released on the 2nd of August, 2024. So, a few months away. But yeah, I'm intrigued by this. I was like, oh yeah, sounds interesting. But actually, I like the sound of this system because it's something a bit different to what I think it's because it's really different to what I'm playing a lot. Because at the moment, I'm playing a lot of D&D, Level Up A5e, and Warhammer Fantasy. So I think my brain's just like, oh, this is different. But yeah, so I'm excited for that coming in August.
Cool. So Hasbro had $1 billion. Then they spent $1 billion on something.
Well, did they have $1 billion, or did they have
probably still have $1 billion, but this particular $1 billion they had, and they invested it all in video games.
Okay.
It's interesting. So Dan Ayub, who's the head of digital production at Wizards of the Coast, was talking in an interview and was talking about Hasbro's general video game plans, and sort of said that Hasbro has over $1 billion currently invested in internally developed games.
Okay.
So this isn't licensed stuff like Baldur's Gate 3. This is internally developed stuff because they own 4 video game studios.
Well, they used to own 6.
They used to own 6, but they own 4 now.
Okay.
And those are Atomic Arcade, Invoke Studios, Archetype, and Skeleton Key.
Right.
They mentioned that these studios, they're working on various different Hasbro properties. There's like a G.I. Joe game coming along and this other stuff. And they're working on a new IP called Exodus, which is headed up by James Orlan, who was behind Knights of the Old Republic.
I like Knights of the Old Republic. That was a fun game.
Yeah. But they also mentioned that there is a D&D-ish game. So one of the things that Dan Oyub said was one of the great things we took from the success of Baldur's Gate 3 is that people really, really like a great, well-executed D&D game. Who'd think that people would like great, well-executed things? Anyway.
The game works really well and everything's fun about it. Who could have foreseen this turn of events? Indeed,
Carry on.
Yeah. Anyway, a great, well-executed. We all know, Jess, that you don't like Baldur's Gate at all. And
that's correct, Russ.
You refuse to have ever
it.
played it. And anyway, people
Wednesday.
really like a great, well-executed D&D game like Baldur's Gate 3, and then he says, so we've got something like that. That's as specific as he goes. I can't tell you any more than that.
I know they mentioned before that they are saying, oh yeah, we have plans for like a Baldur's Gate 4 situation, but it won't be a Larian. But I don't know. I'm worried that they won't.
I don't think that's that. I think that's a different thing.
Oh really?
Yeah. I think Baldur's Gate 4 is very much they're still looking for partners and scoping out.
Okay, got it.
Whereas this sounds like something that's actually in development, it sounds like, at the moment.
Okay, well, I'm a bit concerned about that because I'm worried that they won't understand what was so good about Baldur's Gate 3 and why it resonated with so many people and the quality, care and time that went into it. Because it was like being developed for they had voice actors working on that game for 4 years and things. Like it was a serious undertaking. And also the stories resonated with lots of people in lots of different ways. And also it was done in a way that if it didn't interest you, you didn't have to interact with it, and that was fine. Because there's so many people I know that play the game and like it for totally different reasons.
But there's a new Dark Alliance game in the works, though, isn't there? Which is a very different style of game. It can't be that they're referring to, surely.
No, because if they would have said if it was something, they had more details. But I don't know. I'll have a look, but I don't.
There's already a Dark Alliance game out. That came out in 2021.
Yeah, that was the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm sort of... And it's never achieved better than deeply mixed reviews.
Yeah.
Because I've been sort of looking at it, on and off since it came out.
It's an action-y thing, isn't it?
It's currently on
I've never played it.
50% of 3,731 user reviews for this game are positive.
50% is not a good score.
I mean,
that's a fail on Rotten Tomatoes, isn't it? What do they? You could get 60 or something for. I'm not sure.
I think mixed was a fair statement, PJ, based on that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like that's not my statement. That's what Steam says. And I just because like I would like to be interested in it. It does seem like maybe a game that I would find fun, but a lot of the stuff I'm seeing is people saying it's really buggy. It's been 3 years.
I think it's quite running around button mashy as well.
I mean,
if you like that sort of thing, fine.
I mean,
what can I say? I've been playing Gallo Spire Survivors. That is not even button mashy. The buttons are pre-mashed for your convenience.
Lovely.
And sometimes that is my level of like engagement.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's amusing.
I don't know. Yeah, it's things like that. I think Baldur's Gate 3 has made me a fan of Larian more than a fan of D&D themed games. So I'm excited for what Larian does next. I think just because of like what you said, it's 3 years ago and it's still buggy. Larian like constantly doing updates and changing, and also listening to feedback and changing the actual content of the game. Like people are like, I don't like an ending for this character as much, and they're like, do you know what? Yeah, we'll tweak that, and then it wasn't even DLC. It was just done. So, but yeah. So I'm not excited by that news. Like I am for the art. So
we'll just wait and see, I guess.
So my response to this week's news can be described as mixed. One can say so far. Excited for Arkham Horror?
Yeah.
Hasbro doing a D&D themed video game? Okay.
I would like to see what it is that they bring out.
Yes. Well, we'll definitely talk about it here.
I wish the devs all the best. Making a computer game is an extremely complicated endeavour.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you're going to do any sort of value for it, and there's massive expectations. So, it's a tough job, and, my sympathies, and fingers crossed to you, is what I say.
Is there a mobile D&D game at the moment?
Almost certainly.
There must be.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah.
Not one that I can point you at, but I bet there is
there
somewhere.
An official mobile D&D game? Different question.
An official one, I mean. An official one, No. Yeah. All right, anyway.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Dragons, floral dragons. I think we mentioned them last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But they've just joined the $1 Million Kickstarter Club, Hit Point Press, with their field guide to floral dragons. Squeezed into the $1 Million Kickstarter Club right at the last minute, right on the last few hours. Squeezed in. This is now Hit Point Press's 4th $1 Million Kickstarter.
Nice.
Which means that they and Matt Colville's MCDM Productions are joint leaders. The only two creators to have made $4 million TTRPG Kickstarters.
Nice. I mean, floral dragons.
Yeah. So this combines dragons with flowers. Each of 25 dragons inspired by a flower. There's a rhododendron dragon, a dandelion dragon, a wisteria dragon, Dragons, and it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I mean, I don't know how broadly, well, a lot of people backed it, so I guess quite broadly. But broadly, that
I would say
flowers and dragons kind of like creates a synergistic sort of
if I say
in people's minds. But
if I say the word cottagecore, does that mean anything to you?
No.
Yes.
No. Okay. Well, there we go. So cottagecore is like this sort of like almost a fashion movement / lifestyle.
Aesthetic.
Where you're just trying to make things, an aesthetic, where you're just trying to make things nice. And by nice, I mean the specific sort of pleasant near-tweeness that one would derive from. If you imagine a cottage, not like an actual cottage, but like, sort of the fictionalised representation of a cottage. Imagine a cottage that a Hobbit would live in, yeah?
Yes.
And most of the way there. And it's like, that sort of cozy.
Yeah, it's cozy lifestyle with like gardening and your own vegetables and Yeah,
and that sort of thing at the moment.
Do you still have the internet though?
You can.
Yeah. How else do you post on Instagram, Ross?
All right, fair enough.
Or TikTok to let people know what you're doing.
Yeah, okay.
Start baking your own bread and having a cute house and growing veggies and just dressing like a medieval fantasy
but
wench.
With better underwear, stitching, Velcro, that sort of thing. And just, generally
living your best life.
Aspiring to a simpler, better life. Sort of.
Well, no. Yeah.
So that is very popular amongst a lot of people, and there are people.
Well, sounds nice.
Dragging enormous books from D&D and attempting to replicate it. That is a thing you can do.
Okay.
I'm pleased for you, but I would not do that.
Sure. Yeah. Well, anyway, field guide to floral dragons. The Kickstarter's over now. You can't go and back it, but
they'll probably have a pledge manager and things.
Yeah,
There'll
we
be,
could do,
so I'm sure there'll be a late pledge manager. And then it will go to retail in the future.
This was an interesting one because everyone who pledged for the box set got a free jigsaw puzzle with it.
Cute.
Which I'm sure helped spur it along to its $1 million.
Yeah.
There's nothing quite like a free gift to backers to
Yes.
Yeah. But it's good. But the thing I really like about it is it just looks it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It just looks lovely.
Yeah.
I mean, strong as
Very well laid out book.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing like sort of like Wizard's dress, trade dress or anything. It's just gorgeous
Yeah.
with its own style, and it's really, really nice.
Yeah. Almost you're getting an object art as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think the overlap between people who are actually going to use it as a game book and people who are going to take it and revel in the glorious art.
Just a little coffee table book, yeah.
Yeah. I think that is like, there's a lot of demographics that you're catching there. The people who buy anything with a dragon on the cover, God bless your hearts. People who are like, yeah, this is really love art. People who love the cottagecore movement. And presumably there's some role players in there as well. And I'm not saying that last is a small section, but I'm saying that the other sections are probably really a lot bigger. Legit. Love it. Oh, I do love election day. I'm hoping for my usual epic landslide victory.
Oh, your malevolence! The final votes have been tallied. I have them here.
Excellent, excellent. Pray, my craven lickspittles, tell me, how much do my subjects love me?
Well, I mean, love, that is a strong word, your wickedness.
Yes, it might be wise to temper your expectations, your bitterness.
Nonsense. Everyone in the 19 duchies adores me. Give me the results, you witless dolts, so I may bask in my 12th straight victory.
Yeah, well, I mean, there appears to have been a little swing towards Lady Celestial the Bountiful.
Yeah, it seems like her promises of free cake and less general oppression seems to be proving popular.
A little swing, eh? Well, we'll soon root out those dissidents. Still, a victory is a victory. Can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, about that, your ruthlessness,
About what, Councillor?
Well, when we say a little swing, we mean...
Well, more of a catastrophic reversal.
Catastrophic reversal? Whatever do you mean? Speak plainly, you blathering ingrates.
We mean to say that it's not so much a victory as as
a cataclysmic loss, your malignity.
What? That's impossible. Count them again.
We have counted the votes twice, your hatefulness.
Then you have clearly miscounted, you quivering fools. Count them again.
Oh, it won't make a difference, your spitefulness.
If I wanted your opinion, you spineless worm, I'd beat it out of you. Now count them again.
Oh, very well, your rancor. Votes for you. 1, 2. 2 votes, your diabolicalness.
2? 2 votes? How can that be?
Oh, and Lady Celestia the Bountiful has, oh yes, it looks like 32,141 votes, your maleficence.
I'm afraid the results are clear, your sinistry. Lady Celestia is the new Chancellor of the 19 Duchies.
But it makes no sense.
Free cake is a powerful incentive, your perniciousness.
But I did everything right. I oppressed the poor, just how everyone likes.
Nevertheless, your misery.
I set a 4 p.m. curfew. I enacted forced conscription into the slapstick rules for all subjects over the age of 10. I censored all criticism of my just and fair rule. Mandatory weekly singing competitions. The ever-popular whimsical tax day.
Well, it seems these policies were not as widely loved as perhaps one might suspect, your fishness.
The moustache prohibition and the closure of all the healing temples and schools proved particularly unpopular, your tardiness.
But what about the Ministry of Misinformation? The introduction of trauma by pudding. And screaming Sundays.
Also unpopular, your beastliness.
Unbelievable, but surely the loyalty jewels and the national hugging ban were enough to sway the masses.
Surprisingly not, your grimness.
So, what you're saying is...
Well, unfortunately, your wretchedness, you have lost the 19 Duchies general election to Lady Celestia the Bountiful with a tally of 32,141 to 2.
She's on her way here already, your ineptitude.
Somebody will pay for this. Wait, what did you say the tally was?
Oh, I said the 32,141 to 2, your woolliness.
To 2?
Yes, your blackness. 32,141 to 2.
But there are 3 of us in this room.
I
know I voted for me. What about you, Councillor?
Oh, well, I voted for you. I mean, of course, your wriggliness.
And you querulous wretch. Who did you vote for?
Well, it's just that,
Just what, you snivelling clod? Speak or die.
well, your badger nurse,
Go on, out with it, before I lop off your head.
it's just that I like, cake,
You like cake?
and I don't like, oppression and tyranny.
Who in their right minds enjoys cake?
Well, apparently, your Odinus, everyone.
How is it that I am so out of touch with the needs of the filthy masses?
Well, you are a 40,000-year-old lich dedicated to the gods of murder and suffering, your bleachness.
Silence, you treacherous dolt. Gods, take this pitiful cur and feed them to the murder chickens.
No, not the murder chickens. Anything but the murder chickens.
And as for you, my final remaining royal counsellor. What is that? What's wrong with you? What is that you are eating?
Oh, it's, just a bit of cake, your gingerness?
Who needs advisors anyway? Now to work on my next election campaign. Let's start with a random recession and mandatory mime classes.
Malak the Maleficent here. If, like me, you're enjoying this podcast, please consider subscribing on Patreon for exclusive bonus content every week and the warm, fuzzy feeling of knowing you are helping to keep the show going. Subscribe at patreon.com/Morrus. There, I said it. Can you stop staring at me like that now? The things I do. All right. Don't forget, patreon.com/Morrus. Can I go now?
So, we are back to the remainder of the news.
Well,
Do you want to do one, Jess? 'Cause
yes,
I've done a couple.
I have a news.
Mm-hmm.
So, Star Trek Adventures, 2nd edition. We've mentioned it before. We now have dates for when you can purchase it. So we're getting more information at Gen Con, I believe. But the hardcovers will be shipping in August 2024. And you can pre-order them now. So you can pre-order them in the UK store or the US store. And you will get a free PDF when you order the book, which is good. I don't think it'll be sent out immediately, but as soon as it's ready, they'll send it out to pre-order backers. So you will get your PDF prior to the physical book. Yeah, and there's the lead designer, Nathan Dowdall, posted a blog entry talking about compatibility between 1st and 2nd edition because they want it to be still compatible so you don't have to rebuy
Backwards
everything.
compatible, yeah.
Yeah. And it's got information about how you update your player characters and things like that, and NPCs and starships. And there's a free little quick start on DriveThruRPG for it, and it's got a little adventure on it called the Celestial Algorithm, and that's free on DriveThruRPG at the moment. And it's got 7 pre-generated characters. So if you want to introduce the new rules to returning players, that's all on there. So if you're interested, that quick start could be a good little sneak preview to check if you want 2nd edition or not.
And that's set during the TOS era as well.
Yes, it is.
Which is nice. Mm. My favourite era.
Of all the
Actually, my favourite era is the TOS movies era.
There you go.
Which is in between the original TV series and the Next Generation.
There we go. I'm not a huge Star Trek fan. Not that I don't like it, I'm not as knowledgeable on the world and information. But every episode I've watched I have enjoyed. So
I like my Star Trek.
I like the old school one.
I wouldn't say I like all Star Trek though. I mean,
I like the old school Star Trek where they would it was like Doctor Who style budget, and they would just try and get things and like say it's an exotic animal. Like, there's one where they literally just put a horn headband on a dog and be like, look at this exotic animal. And it's like, I love that because it feels very Doctor Who, because Doctor Who does that. They're like, oh look, we have no money, like just kind of.
And there's like Doctor Who's always filmed in a quarry in Wales.
Yes,
always used to be.
Where else did you film it? Madness.
Star Trek was always filmed in the same rocky bit of the desert in California, with some really distinctive angular rocks. And like every outdoor scene was filmed in that same spot.
Yeah. I love old school sci-fi for that. I think all those things are great because it really makes me feel like it's a bunch of scrappy creatives doing their best to create something, and I like that vibe. But anyway, so the core book, what it actually has in it, so it's an updated version of the system. It's got an extensive primer on Star Trek, including details on a range of societies, worlds, species. So if you're like me and not completely up to date with what's going on, it does have that lore and information in there. It's got 14 player character species. It's got guidelines for, if you're new to the game or if you're an experienced person running it. It's got graphics for 15 playable starship classes. And it's got Federation, Klingon, Romulan. It's got dozens of NPCs, different starships and creatures to populate the world with, and it's got different personal logs and historical bits and pieces, so more lore and communications, so you can send them in your game. Yeah, so it's got loads of cool stuff in there. So I think if you're a fan of the system, maybe worth checking out.
Yeah. I'm surprised they've used the word edition. That's going out of vogue these days, isn't it?
With some people.
It's not Star Trek Adventures Revised or Star Trek Adventures Unlaunched.
One Star Trek.
What does unlaunched even mean?
One Star Trek.
They come around your house and they take the books back. And they say, don't let's catch you doing more Star Trek, mate.
Right, anyway, D&D Beyond. They made some changes.
Oh, okay.
This is to the marketplace bit of D&D Beyond where you buy the stuff.
Yeah.
And basically, there's two major ones. One is US shoppers can now buy physical books on there. And the second one is they are getting rid of a la carte purchases. So, that's where you buy a single feat or an archetype or something, or a monster.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can do that for like a $2 or something. I don't know how much it was, but you can do that sort of thing. Now, you can no longer do that. You have to buy the full book to get access to content. So I was surprised because I was kind of thinking that Wizards were going to go more in the direction of microtransactions, but it looks like they're pulling back from them with that in mind. I don't know. That surprised me.
I mean, I quite liked the way they used to it, which was if you absolutely had to have a class, you could buy it.
Yeah.
And if you bought enough bits of the book, you got the rest of the book for free.
Yeah, that was good.
And that was like, I could see that being something I could get sucked into if I was going to get the money. So,
Well, they're getting rid of that. Although your previous ones still count. You wouldn't lose the ones that you've got, but you can't buy them anymore. And there's a few other things. There's UI improvements, makes finding your purchased content easier, redeeming keys a little easier, more information on the product listings, more previews on the product listings, that sort of thing. So it's just kind of a little bit of an overhaul, really, to D&D Beyond's marketplace.
Exciting.
Yeah, as they sort of continue to bolster up the digital side of but then again, we kept talking about how they're moving away from physical stuff as well, and now they've just started selling physical books on D&D Beyond, which again surprises me a bit.
I don't think anyone thought that they were going to stop selling physical copies of books.
Yeah, but it's whether it was going to go digital first is
well,
and the physical books are kind of for the collectors.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to be a bit silly not. If you just look at it in terms of profit margins as a business person, the profit margins on PDFs are much better.
Yes.
Yeah. You just with a very minimal distribution cost. And then
you don't have to print and ship them,
Yeah.
I mean,
No customs.
I personally always want to have a physical copy where I can, but that is getting increasingly out of my budget.
Yeah.
And space. Running out of space.
Oh, Russ, there's always more space for books. Space.
You could build an extension just for my books.
We have ways and means, Russ. Ways and means. I'm looking into one of those like exciting bookshelves which you can like whirl a little lever and they move along from side to side.
What I need is a TARDIS library. So it's bigger on the inside than the outside. So you can just like have a door in your house that goes through to this enormous library with all your books. That would be awesome.
If there was a TARDIS in the move, that would be great for events, because then we could load up all the stock in the TARDIS and then just put it directly onto our event stand and then have that for storage as well.
All right, okay, I'll get on that.
Where's our library of holding is what I need to know.
Yeah.
Like, just whack it into a pocket dimension, blam, you're there. Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. What else have we got? We got any more news?
I do. So I keep an eye out whenever they talk about, they being the world, talks about Dungeons and Dragons or industry news in like mainstream publications. And The Guardian put out an article today. And normally we see these and they're a bit all the same thing, but like, what's this crazy thing that adults are playing? It's surprisingly popular. It didn't have this vibe. This was actually written by somebody who actually knows TTRPGs in the industry. And the title was Stop Trying to Turn Dungeons & Dragons into a Marvel-esque cash cow. It won't work. And it's kind of an in-depth look at the way that Wizards of the Coast is treating games and how it's at odds with players. So it's talking about how they've mentioned it was under monetized and how their strategy is doing a lot of merch with like Lego and like other geekdom things, and they're trying to monetize it. And they've said that they don't think this is possible because they said D&D is not a franchise, lifestyle brand or marketing opportunity. It is a community of people who largely make up their adventures for themselves, and you can't monetize that. And it talks about how a lot of tabletop RPGs, which is something that I agree with, is that, let me just find that quote, sorry, I want to quote it correctly. Oh yeah, so it says what the publishers, understand. He's quoted other publishers that I said. They said what they understand is that titles, that it takes time to cultivate a player base and a relationship that is ongoing. And a lot of successful RPGs run on customers' goodwill because it's about that community and collaboration. And they fear that trying to monetize it and make it more corporate will alienate a lot of the player base. But anyway, I'll link the article so you can take a look. But I just thought it was quite interesting, and it was nice seeing something in mainstream that was... They're saying a lot of things that we've already kind of said, but I think it was interesting that somebody had written an article that was actually quite knowledgeable and in-depth about it, but explained it in layman's terms. Yeah. So it was quite a good article.
That's good, because D&D does hit the mainstream a lot, and like you said, most of the time it's the same article. It's like, discover why D&D is suddenly becoming popular again. But they've been saying that for 15 years now.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, we're not discovering why it's suddenly becoming popular again anymore. Because you've already written 8 articles in the last 10 years saying exactly that.
Yeah, and it's always done sometimes a bit as an outsider looking in like, whoa, what's this crazy thing the nerds are doing? Whereas this felt very, in somebody
who's played games.
That's,
The Guardian in particular is quite bad for that, has done that sort of like a good sort of half dozen times in the last 10 years. Written that.
But the way it's written is, if you're not into tabletop RPGs, it is written in a way that you can read it and understand what's going on. So it's not like, I think that was a well-written article, and it reviewed a lot about Hasbro and the business model and things like that. And I think it was very interesting. So I'll link that so you can have a read of it. But yeah, I quite like, and they did reference the OGL situation last year as well, talking about in terms of PR and relationship with fan base. But yeah, so that was
good. It's nice to see. It's nice to see the mainstream press having some actually, proper informed articles about this stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, what else we got? Fallout. You know Fallout?
I do. I've loved the TV show.
Fallout,
I've watched
the television show and the tabletop RPG. So, this is just a little nugget of information, really, but the TV show doubled the sales of Modiphius's TTRPG.
Oh, nice.
They sold out. It really worked. Because sometimes you kind of wonder, does licensed stuff really work? It's like, why isn't Star Wars and Marvel games more popular than D&D? Because they're bigger brands. Yeah. So you sometimes think, why? But it looks like in this case, definitely. Or, why isn't Lord of the Rings massive?
Yeah.
But it looks like the Fallout TV show has like really, really boosted the RPG.
Oh, good for them.
Lots of people checking it out after seeing the show. Which
I mean,
is nice.
I don't know, obviously, but if I was going to speculate, I might say that Lord of the Rings is primarily a book.
Mm-hmm.
So the concept of it being a game and doing that story
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah, it might be that, yeah.
necessarily a thing. Like I myself, I know I'm weird. I don't want to play someone else's story that everyone knows.
I suppose so, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Fallout has always been
A game, yeah.
very open world. It's always been a game, and like there's always been like bits and pieces, and it sort of lends itself to emergent storytelling, which dovetails nicely with TTRPG. So maybe people are like, oh, you know what? Let's go.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you might be right. That might be it.
Yeah. Just maybe the concept that actually doesn't have to be confined to a computer game. You could do other sorts of game, and maybe I don't know. I haven't seen Fallout. I hear it's quite good.
I really like the TV show.
It's good, yeah. I really liked it.
Okay.
Again, I wasn't familiar with the games at all.
No.
Never, ever played one of them. I just knew it was... I vaguely knew it was post-apocalyptic, and that was basically it.
I do play the games, and I liked it, because there were some very small nods if you play the games that was nice moments, but I think, Russ, you said before, they weren't done in such a way that if you didn't know the games, you were like, oh, clearly this is a moment.
I didn't even notice
it
them.
blended really seamlessly in, and it was
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing more annoying when some obscure character pops up in a TV show or something, and it's basically an Easter egg nod, but it's made a bit too blatant, so that if you don't know who it is, you're sitting there going, it's really clear
that I'm
supposed to know who this is, but I don't.
I mean, Marvel do that with a lot of their after credits scenes.
Yeah, like that. And also in Baldur's Gate 1, you leave the city. Elminster! I'm like, who is this random person talking to me? What do they want? Because, like, my role-playing introductions did not include the Forgotten Realms, so I had no idea who Elminster was. I'm like, oh, like, so he's supposed to be... Yeah, like, the delay between me seeing random old man working out who it was not a small one.
Yeah. But yeah, Fallout doesn't have that. So yeah, good for Modiphius, good for them. I'm pleased that's going well. I always love it when people are playing RPGs that are not D&D.
Yeah.
Should make a podcast about that.
What other newses do we have?
WizKids are making more minis.
They do that?
Yeah. They've got... These are unpainted, though, so you're not going to get them, Russ.
Are they pretty?
They do look quite good. They're for D&D and for Critical Role. So there's one for Dungeons & Dragons 50th anniversary, and it's got modern interpretations for original characters of the game. So that's dwarves, elves, skeleton knights, kobolds, goblins, and mimics. Each 2-figure pack will retail for $5.99 and is coming in the third quarter of this year. And the Critical Role Unpainted Minis line is getting more stuff and things with it. So these are characters from the series I'm not as familiar with, but if you are, you will know. So it's Dorian Storm, Orin of the Ashari and Fresh Cut Grass, Imogen, Tumult, loads of people like that. So basically these Critical Role characters, NPCs, and are available, and they're $4.49 for 2-figure packs. But yeah, so they're coming out again in the third quarter of 2024. So if you like Critical Role and you want your classic D&D characters, well, yeah, that exists.
There you go.
They're unpainted minis though, so I will not be getting them because I can't bother to paint my minis.
Me neither.
Yeah, but yeah, and that's the news I have for you.
Wonderful. I think, are we done then? Is that all of the news?
I think that's all the news really. In EM Publishing news, excitingly, I spent the week fighting with US Customs, which is great fun, but not in vain, because now the Gate Pass Gazette annual books and the reprints of Adventurers Guide and Trials and Treasures are now in the US warehouse.
Yay!
So we're sending out all of the pre-orders to people that pre-ordered new copies of Adventurers Guide and Trials and Treasures, and we're getting ready to send out all the Gate Pass Gazette things, which will be 2 months early, which is nice.
Brilliant.
So that is Ian Publishing news. And also, A Night in the Library ended yesterday, and I've done all the PDF fulfillment for that. So if you enjoy stalking around a little library, you'll have your stuff now.
And the next one is going to be...
The Void Runners Codex!
Oh, yes.
I sent the page for Kickstarter to review just today. So we'll hopefully have a pre-launch page available soon.
Do you think people would like 30 poster maps of Starship deck plans?
I think they would.
Is that a sort of thing they would like?
And when you say plans, these are going to be like A1 pieces of paper with grids on.
With gridded, for miniatures. 1-inch grids, poster map size for each deck.
Oh. Sounds expensive, but kind of cool.
Well,
Yes, yeah. Well, we're costing that at the moment. We're
might
going to
not
find
be
out
as
how
expensive as you think, actually, which is why, yeah.
But we'll find out soon enough.
For listeners at home, my ears visibly pricked up.
Despite wearing headphones.
Well, the thing with
Headphones
voice
I know,
actors,
it was very uncomfortable.
so each ship, a capital ship, is made up of decks, and you buy the different decks that you want in your ship to design your ship.
Mm-hmm.
So you might say, hey, I want a recreation deck, and I want a med bay, and I want two weapons decks, and I want that sort of thing. And each of those types of decks has a deck plan. And that was just going to be in the book, just like, the map was going to be in the book. But then we thought it would be really cool to make those poster maps as well.
There'll definitely be digital ones of them, so, but there will of course be digital, because that's easy, but we're like, it would be cool to have physical ones that you can, because I love having stuff in a set, and because we're thinking of doing some fun, thinking of doing a box set for this one, so we're thinking of how we can make it really fun and cool. And it's fun because it's space, so it's different from fantasy.
And we're doing tokens and all sorts of stuff. It's going to be probably our most elaborate Kickstarter yet, I think, in terms of the bits and pieces that are with it.
Spot foiling, shiny things. Can you tell I'm in the middle of talking to manufacturers at the moment? Yeah. But so that'll be exciting.
Oh, also, we should mention that in a month's time, less than a month's time, we're going to be at UK Games Expo, and this very podcast will be recording it live, hopefully in front of an audience, depending on whether or not an audience actually shows up. In theory, in front of an audience.
We did have an audience last year.
We had 12 people last year. Yeah.
Yep, it'll be same time, same place, really. It's Friday, 3 p.m. in the Dice Room, which is in the Piazza Suite, just opposite Hall 3 at the NEC.
Yes, so please come.
It's free to attend, and so if anything, it's time to have a little sit down for an hour in between running around a convention.
Yes, and you just get to watch us being hilariously incompetent.
And I'm going to be running a game at the UK Games Expo this year, which I've never done before. I'm going to be running from the Level Up box set, Valley of Misfortune, and we're running that on Friday evening. And tickets are up on the UK Games Expo site if you want to sign up and play in a game with me.
Yes, we will have a stand here, and we'll have the what sort of new box set starter set for
to purchase
first time ever properly. Yeah,
yes,
which is going to be interesting.
And we have lots of volunteer GMs running games for us as well in the game section, so you can go on the site and see.
We've got lots. Yeah,
so
lots and lots.
Yeah, the aim is generally every day there's a few games of What Soldiers New, Level Up, and some Awfully Cheerful Engines sprinkled in there as well.
I should run some Level Up.
Yeah, please do. And pop on the site and then people can sign up for you.
Yeah. They just have like a weird thing where you have to do a briefing first, so I need to get that sorted out. But that's for me to sort out anyway.
Separate from the podcast, that document I sent you has stuff you can copy and paste in for all the sections. So I've kind of done that. If you're running from the Level Up box set. If you're not, then obviously you need to put your own adventure brief in. But I've done that for those.
That sounds like it saved me a lot of effort. Thank you very much.
Anyway.
Okay. I think we're done for this week. Should we go and have a weekend?
Yes. Let's have a weekend.
Okay. Approve.
Okay, then.
All right.
Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we will see you. No, we won't see you at all, because that's not how podcasts work. Next week.
You'll hear from us.
You will hear us.
You'll hear us. We will neither see nor hear you. Unless you write to us, in which case we'll see your words.
Yes.
Or you come to UK Games Expo and get in the audience, in which case you can ask us all sorts of probing personal questions.
Yes.
You can.
You won't answer them, but you can ask them.
Apparently I now have to read this to you. This is the official podcast of Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG news, which you can find at enworld.org. You can find show notes at morrus.podbean.com or wherever you found the podcast. If you feel like they deserve it, you can support the show on Patreon. In return, you will receive exclusive bonus content. Just go to patreon.com/Morrus. If you're interested in his babbling nonsense, you can follow at Morrus on the Twitter. Send your emails to morruspodcast@gmail.com. Not all of your emails, just the ones you want us to see. That's it. I'm bored now. You can go away. Shoo, off you go. Goodbye. Get out of here.
Also, Jess, you owe me £1 million.
Why?
Posh.
Because of that bet that we did last week, remember, where we said that whether or not there was anybody that listened to this podcast who hadn't seen Star Wars, whether that Venn diagram
I didn't
worked.
bet you £1 million.
Yeah, definitely. You must have just forgotten it. And
It's
That's on the
recorded.
face of a woman who remembers, Russ.
and nobody has written in to say that they both listened to this podcast and have not seen Star Wars. So you owe me £1 million.
I never made that promise because I don't have
sure
£1
you
million.
did. I'm sure you did.
I did not.